You're listening to WSTU Stewart.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
Well, a very pleasant good evening. Time for Startup Talk from Indian River State College with Mr. Tom Kindred.
Thank you, sir, and welcome to another segment and installment of Startup Talk, the show designed to assist and help Treasure and Research Coast residents who want to start, grow, or accelerate their business. As I always say, what a great place it is to own and operate a business along the beautiful Research and Treasure Coast. We will spend time during our hour together this evening to highlight and create awareness regarding the very powerful and robust business assistance and support programs that exist right here in our community at our very own Indian River State College. My name is Tom Kindred, and I serve the community as the Regional Director for the Florida Small Business Development Center at Indian River State College. Our show today, as always, is powered by the Florida SBDC at IRSC and the great folks at Express Printing of Port St. Lucie. So, Greg, how are you this evening?
Doing well.
Where are we in the world of Pioneer sports? I guess we're getting close, I
Ladies,
guess.
Yeah, the ladies will start volleyball. It's, I think, 2 weeks.
Nice.
For
I
real?
love volleyball.
And they're, I'll tell you, they posted something on Facebook of their workout in the weight room. Oh my God!
Now, are they? They're returning.
Amazing.
Are they returning Southern Conference champs? Was that last year?
No, that was 2 years.
2 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
they've got a bunch of international stars this year, and
Wow.
very, very impressive. Yeah,
All right.
she's gonna have a good team.
Yeah, well, they always do very well. And
Yep.
those are exciting games. Of course, I love the volleyball. I love the women's volleyball. Where are we with basketball? Are we? You always.
Well, I haven't talked to Coach Charlie Wilson yet, but I'm unbeknownst to him, I'm trying to book a couple games in Louisville. A dear friend of ours
Yes.
who coached against IRSC for years, Coach Verjanik from Polk, has just taken a job up in Louisville. And so, you never know. We need to book 2 more games. Nobody in Florida will play us anymore.
Because they beat them all.
Because we beat them, yes.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens.
Well, again, and we always have a little fun talking about Indian River State College sports as we start our show every Thursday evening. But it is, I always tell folks, it's a great opportunity to come out and really see some great college athletics. Again, as Greg pointed out, the women's volleyball team, very exciting always to watch their games. And, of course, the women's and men's basketball is always exciting. I'm telling you, you got to be in there one night when they're playing Dade or Palm Beach, and you're down to 3 seconds, and it's a 2-point game. It really is a very exciting. So it's a great opportunity. Usually never any charge to go to an Indian River State College athletic event.
Yeah,
there's 1 or 2 nights during the season. I think
Right.
they charge.
Yeah, the ladies charge for the cancer events, the pink games. And then I think we will be charging for the Vets Classic in November. And again, all the proceeds go to the veterans groups of the Treasure Coast. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, but a fun night out.
You bet.
Fun night out to come and watch what goes on at the game. So with that, listen, we've got a great show this evening, Greg. As the folks who are regular listeners to our show know, we are dedicated to talking about business and talking about business activities that are going on around the region. And tonight we have with us 2 standout business women. We have with us first this evening, we've got Angela Brazel. Angela, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Angela is the director and the leader of an incredible event held here. I think they're in their 2nd year. It's the Treasure Coast Minority Business Expo, so we're going to talk about that expo. We also have with us this evening Miss Tammy Crandell, who is the president of an incredible organization. If you haven't heard about this organization, you got to hear about it. I had the privilege and the opportunity to speak one day to this organization, but she is president of the Port St. Lucie Business Women's Organization.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Tom.
Thank you, and thank you for taking time out this evening to join us, Tammy. Looking forward to the conversation. Really is a great group down in Port St. Lucie, and so looking forward to learning a little more about that. But let's start, Angela, with you. I want to talk about the Treasure Coast Minority Business Expo. This is year 2 for the expo. But start us, Angela, with a little background and on you and kind of your pathway to directing this expo.
Well, I've been in this market since 1989 in the marketing and advertising aspect, and there was never any event kind of dedicated to minority, where it be the small business or black business
Right.
Industry in this marketplace.
Right.
So I always wanted to do it, and I had like a 5-year plan, but it took 2 years to get it done. So this is where I am now.
Your funding for the program, was it a grant program? Did you and the city kind of partner on a grant?
Last year we did, but this year it's a 401k program.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, from
All right.
Angela Brazil's 401k.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's nice. That's good.
Thank goodness the 401k
Yeah,
is doing well.
I was trying to figure out what the 401k. I'm thinking, is that a new SBA program or something? But I'm with you now.
Yeah.
It's the Angela Brazil 401k. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Well, again, it was a great event last year. Very impressive event. Talk about the expo. It's a really a day and a half event.
Yes. What we plan on this year on August 17th, a Friday, we're going to have a special VIP reception sponsored by AmeriGas Propane, where we have the speakers of the event and the vendors kind of get together for us to say thank you for attending, thank you for participating. We also have Mr. Derek Hankerson. He's a film and producer, and he's going to debut his film about the Gali Nation from St. Pete area.
Right.
He's going to do a film debut. He did a documentary about that society. He's going to debut his film at the event as well on Friday. And Saturday, that morning at 9, we're going to do some special presentations of some of the major sponsors, and then starting at 10, we're going to start with our breakout sessions, and all the life and business sessions are free for the community to attend. And we have everything from credit repair to how to start a business, to how to grow your business, to how to speak the right language, from how to do internet marketing, and
Nice.
All aspects of being in business. We can from having an idea in your brain to being in business 20 years and how to take your business to the next level.
Nice. And that so Friday night's a little bit of a social, and then Saturday you kind of get down to business. You've got all the breakout sessions. This all takes place at the
Harvard L. Fenn Center at 2000 Virginia Avenue in Fort Pierce.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you've got a number of sponsors for the event. Kind of give a shout out to some of your sponsors.
Yes. Thank you. Blessings do come in packages.
That's right.
First of all, AmeriGas Propane stepped up to the plate, and they sponsored our VIP program. The BB&T Bank is sponsoring the exhibit hall. They're sponsors of the exhibit hall. The Allegheny Francisco Ministries also came to the plate a week ago.
Nice.
That type of thing like that. And then we have, of course, the SBDC is playing a major part in being a part there as a presenter as well as a sponsor. The Economic Development Board is also a repeat sponsor from last year, and those are like the major sponsors of being a part of.
Is the city still involved with the city of Fort Pierce? No, they're okay.
No, they've taken a new direction, and I think they're more involved in the Lincoln Park business district.
The Common Good Initiative.
Yeah, so
okay.
they're going to be doing a expo similar to
All right.
in that
All right,
in
great.
September.
All right. So again, now I remember last year Friday night was really kind of a lot of fun. You had some entertainment actually last year. You doing a little different this year.
Yeah, we're just going to have a person playing music.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the entertainment. We had 8 or 9 different performers, and they cost. And because this was a different, we're just going to just have more of a gathering, networking type of event, and making sure everyone get set up so when we open the doors on
On
Saturday,
Saturday.
people not dragging in and bringing
Okay.
in things. Yeah.
And Saturday was, again, it was very productive. There were some good breakout sessions. I know the EDC spoke, and we gave a presentation. I think SCORE gave a presentation.
SCORE, yeah.
Yeah. So
SBA is going to be there again. SBA is going to be there
Yep.
this year.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Yeah. So again, it really was a good business event last year for those again, like you said, maybe looking to kind of find their way to starting a business or growing their business, and what resources are out there available to help them with their business.
True.
So you did a nice job last year. We're looking forward this year to again participating. How can somebody find out more about the expo and maybe
they
get
can-
a table or get involved?
Excuse me. They can visit our Facebook site at TC Minority Business Expo 2018, or they can email me at minorityexpofp@gmail.com, and I'll normally reply within 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, that type of thing like that. So yeah.
Well, Angela, you did a great job last year with it. I know it's a lot of work. I know it's a lot of hard work for you to put a big event like this together. So we appreciate what you're doing for the community
Thank
and
you.
appreciate what you're doing with the Treasure Coast Minority Business Expo, which is now in year 2.
Now, are
Everybody's welcome.
more and more businesses getting involved in all sorts of events like this?
Yes, we have a variety. We have from funeral homes to insurance agencies to travel agencies, things of that nature.
Does anybody know a good travel agent? Oh,
I don't know. Maybe we can find one tonight.
yeah, I think we might.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yes. So we have a wide assortment from home construction and everything that this year. And most of the vendors that we have this year are new to be participating.
Right. And the vendors you have there, I mean, it is a good opportunity, if nothing else, to kind of walk around and see some of the businesses
Yes,
that are
because
available.
They're available there, that type of thing like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, again, Angela, you've done a great job with the event, and we appreciate your hard work in the community. Appreciate you, exposing what's going on within our business community and some of the new businesses, and bringing some training and workshops to the business place.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Angela. With that, we're going to take just a very quick break, and we will be back with our guest from the president, Tammy Grandel of the Port St. Lucie Business Women's Organization. Stay tuned.
You're listening to WSTU Stewart.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
And we are back. This is Startup Talk from the Dan K. Richardson Entrepreneurship Development Institute at Indian River State College. I am Tom Kindred, and with us this evening is Tammy Crandall, the president of the Port St. Lucie Business Women's Association organization. And Tammy, it really is an impressive group down in Port St. Lucie. I had the opportunity, it's been a couple of months ago, but I had the opportunity to speak to your organization. I think you meet at the noon hour on when do you meet? Every Thursday or the?
We actually meet twice a month.
Okay.
On the first and third Thursday of each month. Right now it's at Tutto Fresco.
Okay, that's
in-
right. That's
yep,
where I
in St.
spoke.
Lucie West.
Great lunch.
Yes, it is.
That was one of the high points of the meeting was the lunch. I'm sure it wasn't my presentation, but anyway, impressive organization. So I really appreciate you coming up tonight and talking about it. I'm glad we've had an opportunity to kind of promote what you all are doing down in Port St. Lucie and across the whole county. But let's start with just a little background on you, kind of your pathway to the current position as president of the Port St. Lucie Business Women.
Yeah, I have actually been involved with the Port St. Lucie Business Women for about 5 years now. I've been attending their fashion show since about 2007. It's quite the event to attend. I was originally in banking for 30 years, so I had a long career there, and that's why I started that membership initially. And but I formed, my own business, a travel agency with some partners, and but just a tremendous organization to belong to. I belong to a lot of networking groups, and those are wonderful. But I was really looking for an organization that had a strong give back component to it, and the Port St. Lucie businesswomen are exactly that.
Talk a little bit about the purpose and the mission of the organization.
Yeah, we really serve the interest of women and children in our community, and the interest of our members. I mean, they are really the heart and soul that operate or participate in, not only their businesses that they're running every day, but they're also involved in many of our nonprofit groups that are here throughout the Treasure Coast.
Right. What about membership in the group? I mean, pretty large group I spoke to that day.
Yeah, and we're ever growing. We do have a membership cap of 75 right now. Right now we actually have a total of 73. Part of those are actually what we call honorary members. And so 7 of those are honorary,
right.
And but to become a member of that organization, you have to get a sponsor within the organization. And once that person sponsors you, you attend a couple of lunches. It's really important to understand that we are a working group. So it's not just a networking group.
Right.
I mean, to me, that's the gravy that comes to you for all the work we do
right.
together. But we really do work hard to raise the funds that we need to provide scholarships every year. So in order to be a member of our organization, one, you have to either live in or have a business in Port St. Lucie.
Wow.
Or St. Lucie County, rather.
Okay. Talk a little bit about the history of the organization. Started back, I guess, in the 80s?
Yes, in 1980s. It's 37 plus years strong. So,
wow.
Yes. And we even have Lee Hicks is one of our charter members. She's still an active member in our organization, attends every meeting, participates in the fashion show. She actually modeled for us this last year, so that was a lot of fun.
Wow. Again, you... so that you've had a long history, and I'm kind of wondering, gosh, how do people, how do you, well, I guess I'm just kind of wondering, do people know? Does everybody aware of the organization down there? So many years. I mean, I never had heard of the organization, but you obviously have a long history down in Port St. Lucie. How did it kind of start?
Well, I mean, it really started with 4 women who kind of pulled some things together. In the 80s, there weren't as many opportunities for women to participate in business organizations, so they formed their own.
Yeah, I think I was hearing a little bit of the history when I was down, made the presentation, talked about, the four ladies just kind of met on a regular basis for lunch, and then it kind of, I guess it kind of grew into a formal organization.
That it did. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Well, and I guess the 4. You say one of those 4 original are still around and still.
Yes, that would be Lee Hicks.
Wow. Okay. And you talked about you do meet. You guys meet on a regular basis. You meet twice a month.
We do meet twice a month. We have a meeting where we actually have a speaker or a presenter, such as yourself. The last time you were there, right. That's right. And then we also have our standard, what we consider to be a business meeting, and that's real important to us because we're not just a flighty group of ladies meeting together. We have a lot of business to conduct. Right. So we have quite a number of committees that are pulled together that control things such as scholarships, the fashion show, bylaws, just a myriad of very important things that keep the machine moving. And so, you hear it takes a village. It truly takes a village of wonderful, smart, dedicated women to pull something like this off year after year and to improve it and make it bigger and better.
What I thought was impressive too, and it's tied to IRSC as well, is the fact that you will bring, and one of the scholarships goes to a second career person, if you will,
Yes.
who wants to go back to IRSC. Which
That is correct.
I think that's incredible.
Yes, we have a couple of scholarships that are listed under. One is the K. Schaefer Memorial High School scholarship, and the other is the K. Schaefer Memorial Baccalaureate Scholarship. She was one of our original founders, and then we also have another scholarship that goes out that's direct from the Port St. Lucie Businesswomen Scholarship themselves. But we strive every year to raise more funds with our fashion show in order to be able to provide additional scholarships. That's really what we're trying to do. But it's amazing to me. It's not an easy process. It really takes a lot of people pulling their heads together. We've got a point system to make those decisions, and so really difficult to choose.
Talk a little bit about the criteria for those scholarships. So,
well, I mean, you have to be a resident in St. Lucie. Okay. Either ready to graduate in the case for the high school scholarship,
right.
Or recently graduated. There are some restrictions on those. I don't have the details outlined by heart. I do apologize for that, but we have that information on our site as well.
Absolutely. And then, as Greg pointed out, you do have a very unique scholarship. It's for someone that's returning
Yes.
to the workplace.
That is correct. We recognize that sometimes there are things that happen, and somebody needs to go back and improve what it is that they're doing for themselves. Maybe they've decided they're going back to school to get their bachelor's degree. They've had something that's transpired in their life to affect them. And this is a great way for us to be able to support that.
And you also do some community action
Yes,
grants?
we do. Community actions and grants is another part of the scholarships that we give. So, we affect such organizations, and I'll pull a plug here for WPSL Christmas Kids, which is great.
And we thank you.
You're welcome. As well as the Inner Truth Project, the United Way, and Council on Aging, just to name a few.
Of course, you're going to have to do something else for the Christmas kids now.
I am.
I mean, yeah. You're going to have to put together a team to run in the Sugar Plum Run in November.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be amazing entertainment if I were chosen to run. I'm just telling you.
Yeah. Maybe I could.
Some comedic relief for somebody.
Do you have a 3-wheel bike category that I could ride in or something?
Yeah, that might be.
Yeah.
So Tom and I can race in that one.
Who is the typical member of your organization?
It's interesting that you asked that because I don't know if there's such a thing as a typical member. We have a lot of strong, very driven women, and these women could either be a manager in an organization that they're working for, or they could be business owners themselves. So it's really a myriad of a number of different types of professions, such as bankers, attorneys, accountants, claims adjusters, web designers, travel agents, broadcasters. Yeah, I don't want to leave Carol out.
Wow. And talk a little bit about you guys also. I noticed when I was reading up a little bit on the organization, you do some training seminars. Part of what I guess you support and do is seminars for women in business.
We have. It's been a couple of years since we've run a seminar. It really takes a great deal to make that happen. And it's just as big a project as the fashion show is. But when we do put something like that together, it's real important that we've got everybody's buy-in and that we're going to have the attendees that we need. And it's always, and the guys to help train and help, lift up the members and what they're currently doing, whether that's in their daily business activities or personal activities, some life enrichment for them. Those are the types of things that we would include in seminars.
So let's talk about the fashion show. It is your annual event. How long have y'all been doing the fashion show?
Oh, good grief! 27 years.
Wow.
I think we're on our 28th year. So it is one of the largest, most popular events on the Treasure Coast.
Where do you do the fashion show?
We do this at the Harbor Ridge Yacht and Country
Okay.
Club,
All right.
and it's just such a beautiful venue,
It
and they do such a great job in accommodating our group. Typically, we limit that. It's to 300 people. We have a sellout crowd
Wow.
every year. It is the place, if you are a business that wants to bring attention to yourself every year, and you want to be in front of people who spend money, are movers and shakers, have great connections, that is the place to be. Even if you personally can't be there, you want to have your product represented, donating that in the form of a gift basket or trips or whatever it is that you're wanting to do to help promote yourself, so that way you are remembered by those people.
Wow.
And there's two weird Gregs wandering around.
Yes, there are.
One happens to be the mayor of Port St. Lucie, and the other is me.
I was thinking, Greg. I was thinking that the fashion show sounds like a great remote for the startup talk show from Indian River State
Oh,
College.
that would be so much fun.
That really would be chaos.
Oh, it
I
would be
kind of like
so
that.
much
You put us
fun.
over in the corner, and we'll do the show from the
Yeah.
fashion show. When is the fashion show? When does all this take place?
The fashion show this next year in 2019 will take place on April 6th, and typically is from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m.
Wow.
We have probably one of the best silent auction item assortments that I've seen at any organization has held these types of things.
You filled an entire wing of that country club
Yes, we did.
with silent auction items.
Yes, if you
It's
like,
incredible.
if you like to shop, that is like the
Wow.
fun place to shop. And we also typically have at least 2 major raffles that we do for that event as well. This last year, like I said, we always have a goal to raise more and more funds, because that affects our ability to be able to provide additional scholarships. And so being able to do that, that's really what drives us. We want to be able to help those women improve their lives, help improve the lives of their families, whether it's through scholarships and or grants. And so this last year we raised over $28,000. That was our net.
$28,000 in what, a 3-hour event?
Not bad.
That's pretty good. That's quite a
Yes.
quite a feat. Nice
Yes,
work.
thank you.
Talk to me a little bit about the other event that you're involved in, the Julia Project.
The Julia Project, yes. This year I was chosen as a Lady of Julia. The Julia Project is a fundraising arm for the Hands Clinic. So every year there are 12 women that are chosen to represent each month. I'm Miss January, and we just had our induction ceremony a couple of days ago. But the Julia Project helps to fund and bring awareness to the arm that the Hands Clinic provides to our community here. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, 78% of the people that they serve out of the Hands Clinic, they're working people, but they still qualify to receive the medical care that they need there.
How does it's kind of an interesting concept with the project. 12 women, and then talk to me how this all
Okay.
how this works.
You can mention Greg. I mean,
Yes, you
he's a
can.
sponsor here.
Yes, Greg is a wonderful human being. He helps so many people in so many ways. So Greg Childress, I'm going to give you a plug, and he is.
That's all right. I'll bill him.
He's with G. Allen Fine Jewelry, and these all started because he donated a piece that is called Julia, spelled Jewelia. And that piece, during the month that the woman has been chosen for, wears that piece. And that is to help bring awareness to the piece specifically. Each of us that are chosen for these things puts together a fundraiser for that particular month that they're chosen. And of course, our goal is really to raise as many funds as we can to provide the funds that the Hands Clinic needs.
Now, Tammy, where do you wear that? Because I would be real careful with that.
I would wear that. I may not wear that to the beach.
No. Water skiing.
Or water skiing, yeah. I wouldn't wear it skydiving or anything like that. But, certainly if, there are many things that I go out and do publicly. I network for my company. I attend public events. So that would be something, I take advantage of the public nature of what I do a lot for my business. And in doing that, you put that necklace on. It becomes a talking point and a piece to be able to get the word out. So that way, and that's really what it's for. Julia is there so that way you can start the conversation and provide awareness. So that way, whether they choose to participate in an event that we're sponsoring for that month, or if they just simply want to make a donation to the Hands Clinic, that's really what it's all about.
And I guess the goal is that the 12 women who are wearing the necklace, there is some commitment or some concept that they would try to raise money during their month, I guess. Is that
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, I have some fun plans, I think.
Yeah. And then did I see correctly? How much did all this raise in its first year?
I believe it was over $200,000, $241,000 for the first year.
And of course, the Hands Clinic desperately needs it.
Oh, that
Right.
they do.
You bet.
That they do.
Wow, incredible project, and again, I recognized some of the 12 women. Of course, I think I don't know. Was Pat Alley one this year? But if not, I know I saw her last year or the year before. And
Pat, yes, she was, and and Pat is always involved with these organizations.
I know. I saw Pat, and I'm thinking, my gosh, does she ever stop for a minute?
Probably not. And
no.
you'll find that a lot of the women involved in this project, or even involved in the Port St. Lucie Business Women, are exactly that. You're going to find
Wow.
they're involved in multiple things. As I mentioned earlier, part of the drive for the Port St. Lucie Business Women is we invest in the interest of our women as well. So that's part of it. We all become a great part of helping each other with the organizations that we're passionate about.
Yeah, and I saw Veronica Timpone. She's actually a professor at the college, and I recognized Veronica. And so it was very interesting when I looked at the website, and Sue Ellen Sanders, of course, who everybody knows Sue Ellen.
Sure.
Yes.
So Sue Ellen was also one of the ladies. So
Now, do you have a waiting list to be involved with that jewelry?
I wish I could answer that question accurately. I honestly couldn't tell you. I will tell you, Christine Iannotti, love her, and I've known her for quite some time. She's working with the Hands Clinic, and she knows the ladies that they choose. She knows their heart. And, so we were back and forth between, I think she and Chris Adams sidelined me, so back.
Chris Adams, another
Yes.
person who's everywhere.
Yeah, so between Christine Iannotti and Chris Adams, they did a fantastic job of making sure that, they knew that I would be committed, and I did make that commitment for them.
now, does it all wrap up after the year with some sort of an event? Did I see that someplace that there was an event that it all kind of culminates with? Or?
Well, we had an induction ceremony just a couple of days ago, where the past year's women were acknowledged, of course, and the people who were involved, and then of course the new ones were inducted, and it's really just a nice, serene recognition for the group.
Nice work. Let's talk a little bit about your business. That's as we've said before, our show is really dedicated to business, and again, very impressed with the Port St. Lucie Business Women and the organization and what you guys do, and obviously, like you said, very impressive membership. And tell me again, it is a criteria to be part of the Port St. Lucie Business Women. You must own a business, and that.
Well, you could be a manager for an existing business, so you don't necessarily have to be the owner. But you really need to be in some executive capacity.
Okay.
Part of that is because of the fact that the Port St. Lucie is a working organization. You've got to be able to devote some time to that. And if the business that you are working for is so restrictive that you can never, be a part of that, that makes it very difficult for a woman to do that.
All right. So you did have a long history in banking. Kind of talk to us about your business history and your business background.
Yeah, I've been in banking, was in banking for a total of 30 years. It
That
was
30, you said.
30 years I was
When
in
did you
banking.
start, Jamie?
5 years ago.
I literally started that career was my first full-time job 2 weeks out of high school.
Wow.
And I
What
had
was the
had-
bank you started with? if
I
you don't-
I do remember I started with Duval Federal, and it was a local community bank out of Lake Worth, Florida. I'm a Lake Worth local.
Okay.
And, banking was very, very different then than it
Yeah.
is today. So it's transpired, and it just grew from there. I was never satisfied being in one particular position, always had a drive to grow myself, as a person and professionally. And so, I did that over many years. I served in a great deal of many different positions in the bank.
Yeah. And you're right, banking. So you saw an awful lot of change from when you
absolutely.
started and from when you kind of exited and got out
And
of
sometimes I
banking.
feel like I could write a history book.
Maybe you should.
You should. I need to get you and I don't know if you've met Catherine Colhane, who's with the Florida SBDC at IRSC, but Catherine spent 25 years in
Oh,
banking.
yes,
So
yes.
she has the same kind of stories. So you were in banking for 30 years. You got out of banking, and then you now own and operate or your own business. Talk a little bit about that.
I have partners, business partners. We have a franchise with Dream Vacations. Our business is called Travel Obsessions. And we've operated that business as a partnership since January of 2014. And I really got into that initially as an independent through Cruises Inc. And that was really at the urging of one of my partners, Teresa Cheney. She was an independent Cruises Inc. agent. And, it's the funniest thing. We got started simply because I was working at the bank and I wanted something fun for our group to do. And I remember very, very early on in banking that we put together a bowling league, and that at the end of the league we would go on a cruise. And so I wanted to meet someone who could help me do that, and that's how Teresa and I originally met each other. And but I started helping her work on groups for the chamber, St. Lucie Chamber, every year, and I was having so much fun doing it. She coerced me just a little bit and said, you should really do this. And quite honestly, we talked about the change in banking. I had seen 3 401ks tank with all the changes.
Oh, no.
And I thought,
Wow.
what can I do that I can
only
transition?
I think I only saw one tank. You saw 3 of those tanks?
3.
brother.
One was driven by the market,
Yeah.
and the other 2 were just a matter of bank mergers, takeovers. It was just painful. So I thought, I'm not getting any younger. What can I do that would help me recoup some of that and be able to transition into retirement when I'm ready? And so I thought, this could be something fun and different. I've got a little time to do that. So I actually started that transition while I was still working in banking. And, it really is a wonderful thing when you can pursue what your passion
Right.
is, and certainly everything that I learned in dealing with businesses throughout the years. When I last left banking, I was a market manager for them, and when I left that position, I was used to working with businesses in the community, and in fact, I can't tell you how many times I sent people in the direction of the SBDC. Simply because they hadn't put together a business plan.
Right.
They hadn't really laid out what they wanted to do, or maybe they were ready to hop into that second stage and just didn't know where to go from there.
Yeah, I've always talked about once I understood the power of this program and what the SBDC could really do. I always said we're really partners with bankers. I mean that's our
And it
greatest
is. That's
collaborator
true.
is a bank.
Well, and even as a business owner, as I was stepping into that role, it's quite a different experience as a business owner, as opposed to coaching those businesses along from the banker's perspective. So once you step into that seat yourself, you're like, wow, am I really ready for some of these things? So, I did take advantage of some of the things that EDI had to get some things. And I also took advantage of some things that CCTI had as well.
Nice.
So that way it could kind of bring me along. How am I keeping track of the expenses for the business? How is it best to move forward with that? And I'll probably reach out to do a little more of that over the next year.
Nice.
So you really had a working exit plan while you were still a market manager then, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Well, and exit strategies are important.
Hey.
Yes,
we,
they are.
We talk about that all
You
the time,
bet.
too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, last week we had Charlotte Byerly from St. Lucie County. She is the tourism and marketing director for the county. So we talked an awful lot about tourism. Again, a lot of impact in St. Lucie County from tourism. Quite, again, very impressive numbers that tourism brings into St. Lucie County. Talk a little bit about the tourism industry that you're engaged in. Is it growing? Obviously, things
Well,
are picking up. People are taking cruises. What's happening?
People
out
are
there?
they're still spending money on cruises. They're still spending money on experiences, and I think that's the biggest thing. Is we live in a state, full of retirees, but at the same time, it's not just full of retirees. We're full of up and comers, and so those are the things that sometimes I think we forget, that the millennials, as they're coming through, and I know we've had these discussions with Visit Florida and the like, and that they are a market to be tapped, and especially for an area like the Treasure Coast here or St. Lucie County. They want experiences. They want something that's different, and being able to provide that is what gets them here and attracts them here to the Treasure Coast.
I mean, travel obsessions. Your company. Things have changed in that industry, have they not? I mean, years ago, travel agents, I guess as we used to call them. I mean, you guys would book plane tickets and do some of the basics, but I hear you saying experiences. I mean, it's kind of gone beyond just getting a plane ticket. I mean, you guys are really booking groups now and sending people to destinations.
We are, and it really is about, I think today it really is about the destination. People will choose to go to a place specifically for that.
Right.
Excuse me. But we, they'll stay along the coast.
Right. So it really, I mean, again, it is just, it's different. You back in the early days of that travel agency type of model, I mean, you were really doing kind of ordering and booking, but today, again, like you're saying, it really is about putting together a whole package for people and groups and I mean, talk a little bit about the change in that whole industry.
Well, even with that, it's not just about even going on a cruise ship. People want to know, what is it that I can do
Right.
once I reach the destination? What are my options?
Right.
So
About all the excursions and
Exactly.
the side trips and getting off the boat and
Right. So as an agent, or a consultant, we consider ourselves consultants. You really have to know a lot about all of those things.
which means you may have to go there and site check it out.
Well,
and-
sampling never hurts.
Right. Right.
And I'll bet you could write it off too.
It's interesting. It's interesting how that works, right? You do have to pay to train.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, you came out of banking, which you kind of understood, business to some extent. Talk about how difficult it is. What are the challenges in kind of starting over in a small business? I mean, what did you face? I mean, what were some of the things that surprised you? Because you were very experienced, knowledgeable.
Oh,
You were a
sure.
banker. What kind of surprised you when you jumped out and said, "I'm going to start my own business"?
Well, I mean, one of the things that, I think it's a matter of when you sit down and you take the time to put together a simple marketing plan, the expense of it all, and not only just the expense of it all, but the options, the myriad of options to market yourself and trying to find the right way to market yourself to get the clients that you're targeting.
Right.
It's about setting the right target and within the scope of where you are
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
Radio.
Well, yes. Anybody says marketing, I always say, well, you ought to try radio. And again, you saw a big change from your years in banking because back in those days, marketing the business. It was really about repeat customers and you had some programs and interest rates that you offered on checking accounts, but it's not about those kind of things anymore, really. I mean, it's changed. It's not about running ads in the paper. And so, what are you seeing out there in terms of how does a small business market themselves?
Well, I mean, you really have to understand, first of all, what you're targeting. You can't just throw darts. You throw darts and you end up with a lot of unbroken balloons.
Right.
Okay. And so you've got to find a focus, and you have to make sure that you broaden your experience within that focus that you're trying to grow. You have to constantly educate yourself. It doesn't matter whether it is a travel business, if you're going into air conditioning, whatever that is, you've got to make yourself relevant to the clients that you are trying to serve. And, for us, as travel consultants, and that's what we consider ourselves, we are not the people that you call up and you get a quote in 3 minutes.
Right.
I am not a .comer. I just don't operate that way. That's where there is a strong parallel in what I used to do in banking and what I do in my agency. And that is, it's about uncovering the wants, the needs, the desires, and being able to provide the best value proposition for my client.
And you bring up a great point too, especially in your space, that travel space. I've really never used one of those .com, the Travelocities. I guess I'm just old school. I want to talk to somebody about the trip and understand, what to expect. I mean, do you see a lot of competition with these Travelocity type programs, or do people still want a little bit of the one-on-one?
Well, I think I would say the answer is both. People are used to getting things in a matter of seconds. They like that immediate gratification. A lot of people are very visual today. I mean, that's why Facebook is so popular. Being able to provide that to them, I think, makes a huge difference. Many times I'll have clients, that's why we keep a website. You go to www.travelobsessions.com, and you can shop for a cruise, you can shop for land vacations, you can shop for excursions there.
Wow.
Very rarely do my clients book on the site, which is possible too.
Right.
Because then it's like they've shopped for what they like, but they have more in-depth questions.
Right.
Now they're picking up the phone and saying, hey, I was looking at, and that's what we are there for, is really to clarify. Are they going to be able to get what it is that they're looking for?
Right. So kind of as we come to a close here, what my favorite question to always ask folks like yourself who own and operate a business, I mean, what's your advice for aspiring entrepreneurs and for those that might be considering starting a business?
Well, first of all, you have to be prepared to spend a little, first of all. You can't walk in with no dimes to rub together. It's just unrealistic to do that.
Right.
I still don't have any dimes.
You got a couple of nickels, right?
That's what happened after you had been in business.
But no, you commit yourself. You have to commit yourself for the long haul, and you also have to know when it's time to leave.
Right.
If it's not working, you got to be willing to pull back. You can't become emotionally attached. It's
great
business.
Advice, yeah, great advice. We kind of teach that concept in what we call affordable loss. People have to decide up front before they start the business, how much am I willing to lose on this business?
Yeah, and then the other thing is, you want to make sure that you rely on some professionals for the things that you do not know.
Right.
Again,
great. And I've begun to tell people all the time too that you really can't go it alone. You gotta find some help, and
that's right.
And that's what we love about an organization like the SBDC. So, listen, Tammy, I really appreciate you taking time out tonight to talk to us about your business and specifically about the Port St. Lucie Business Women. What a great organization. Tell us real quick as we close, how could one get more information about the Port St. Lucie Business Women?
Simply visit our website at www.pslbw.com. We've got a number of links at the top, and you can see what our fashion show, our memberships are all about.
All right. Tammy, thank you. And I want to thank everyone for joining us for another segment of Startup Talk. Thank our partners here at WPSL and WSTU. And with that, this is Startup Talk, and we'll talk to you next Thursday evening.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Startup Talk right here on WPSL, Port St. Lucie. WPSL on Google Home, Alexa, and Echo worldwide. It's WPSL Port St. Lucie, WSTU Stewart.